So I actually learned something. I learned something this week because I knew it, but it's like a lot of things. If you're away from something for a while, if you're not just in it every day, you kind of lose track. So here's what I learned. I learned that in BC and Ontario, like I said, I always knew it, but I saw proof positive in the last week. In BC and Ontario, without massive help from family, without family members giving enormous down payment assistance and enormous coming on title. We've seen it, reports on it for the last, 4 weeks. More and more parents going on young people's mortgages. It's becoming extremely prevalent. I knew that. I always knew that. I've talked about it many times in many types of social media. But here's what really hit me this week, because this week I have, for a wide variety of reasons, I don't normally look at incoming applications in our company because we have a big bunch of employees who do a fantastic job, a big team of people who care of it. But because of various different reasons and sort of unique situations, I actually stopped and looked at about 7 or 8 different mortgage applications in the last 7 business days, for purchases, for people who wanted to buy homes. Yeah, purchase business is slow in Canada. We know this. It's a fact. But still, there was a flurry of these files that I needed to take a look at because I had some direct relationships with the clients. And here's what I learned. You got to be rich. I'm not rich, but like, sweet Jesus, Christ on a cracker. These people are in the top 2%, 3%, 5% of income earners in Canada. They don't need parental help because they make a ton of money. They make over $400,000 a year. Now, I know people say, oh, okay, yeah, what else is new? But like, it hit me like a brick, because when you see it in application after application, there's no parents co-signing. There's no parents giving. Some of these people are not. They're young people. They're younger than me. Everybody's younger than me, but they're they're people in their 30s and 40s, early 40s, mid to late 30s. They've done very well. Very well. All the money these people are making is well deserved. Okay, I looked at some applications. They'd started in their companies years ago, and they'd worked their way up, and they'd done well, and they're in jobs that have the potential to pay a lot of money, and they're top of the food chain. But I looked at it and I said, it's just these people. It's just people making over $400,000 a year as family income. Now I know, oh no, Ron, you're wrong. We saw numbers where, you can make $250,000 and buy a house. Yeah, but this is what I'm seeing. These are the people who are feeling comfortable enough to buy a home today. Buy a new home are significant income earners. Okay. Now, stop and think, well, Ron, that's just the way it is. Vancouver, Toronto, very expensive cities. They attract the best of the brightest. And yes, that's probably normal, right? Oh, but please, that's big fucking money, okay? Like 400, 500, 900, okay? Like big earners, okay? Oh my God. That's who's buying homes. And I'm glad these people have the confidence to come to us. I'm glad these people, they deserve the incomes they're making. But, how is anybody making even $180,000 a year family income going to do anything if they don't have massive parental help? Hey, you know what it really means? It means this very simple thing. Sure, in Alberta, it's different. Nice houses like $449,000. I know people are going to argue, no, if you really want a good neighborhood, stop it. Okay, I've seen the listings. It's $449,000, that's a nice house, okay? And I've seen Quebec, there's still some good deals, maybe not right in the very best parts of Montreal, but as you go outside the city, Quebec City is still a very, very reasonable, good place to live. I've been to Quebec City, it's a lovely place. You got to speak French, but it's a lovely place, okay? And what has to happen so that people are making $150,000, $160,000 could buy a home and not a dog crate condo for $500,000? The price of houses has got to come down a lot, okay? A lot. Like the price of houses is already down from the insane peak of, say, February 2022, probably already down 15 to 20% for those poor people who bought at that exact time. And now, what does it have to come down to finally get to a point where people who are making a family income of 140, 150 grand can buy a house, buy a detached house or a nice semi or a nice big townhouse in BC and Ontario? What's it got to come down to? It's got to come off another 20 to 25%. Yep, that's right. The price of homes has got to, from today, come down another to 20, 25%. Big money. Okay. Now, is that a disaster? Is that a disaster for all existing homeowners? Is that a disaster for the banking system? Like, could it ever happen? Yeah, anything could happen. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just giving you real numbers. Yeah, another 20 to 25% price reduction in general, and not in the most particular beautiful, best areas in the central Toronto, downtown Vancouver, looking across the inlet at the mountains and on the North Shore. No, not the very best houses in Canada, but just down another 20 to 25%. Would it be the end of the world? Yeah, for some situations it would be. For some groups of people, it would be very, very bad. For people who had to sell, and in some cases for landlords who were speculating, for investors who were speculating. Very bad, okay? And if something went wrong in your life and you really, really had to sell, okay? Yeah, a big decline like that from the absolute insane peak, Feb 2022, all the way down 40%, that would be very, very hard if you had to sell. But not everybody would have to sell. A lot of people who just ride it out, like they rode it out from 1990 to 2012. Okay, they just stayed and rolled. Look, I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm not even saying it should happen. But if you want to know the real truth, for ordinary people to buy houses on their own, towns, semis, detached in Ontario and BC, probably needs that kind of a drop.